The stars twinkled peacefully over the rolling hills and fields of Wyoming. It was a quiet night like any other for Alan Mills. He sat on his porch, sipping coffee and watching the sky. Alan worked as a farmhand at the Golden Valley Ranch. At 32 years old, he enjoyed the simple life away from big cities. Something bright caught his eye in the night sky. At first he thought it was a shooting star, but it grew larger and brighter. It moved strangely, not falling straight down, but zigzagging like a leaf in the wind. Alan stood up, spilling his coffee. The light was coming closer. "That ain't no meteor," he whispered. The object glowed blue and green as it descended. It made no sound until it hit the ground about a mile away in Farmer Peterson's empty field. Then came a boom that shook the windows of Alan's small cabin. Alan grabbed his flashlight and phone. He jumped into his old pickup truck and drove toward the crash site. He called Olivia Ross, the town veterinarian and his friend since high school. "Liv, you won't believe what just crashed in Peterson's field. Looks like something from outer space," he said. "Are you serious, Alan?" "Not another one of your jokes?" Olivia asked. She was used to Alan's stories. "Dead serious. I'm heading there now." "I'll meet you. Don't do anything stupid," she warned before hanging up. When Alan reached the field, he saw a deep groove cut into the earth. At the end sat a smooth metal object, unlike any aircraft he had ever seen. It was shaped like a teardrop and glowed, faintly in the dark. No wings, no engines, no markings. He approached slowly, flashlight pointed ahead. The object was bigger than he first thought, maybe the size of 3 school buses. "Alan!" a voice called from behind him. Olivia ran up, followed by Derek Johnson, the local mechanic who had been at Olivia's clinic helping with a broken X-ray machine. "Is that what I think it is?" Derek asked, his eyes wide. Before either could answer, a section of the smooth hull slid open. Light poured out from inside. The 3 humans froze in place. 2 figures stepped out. They were not human. The first was tall and thin with 4 arms and a body that looked like it was covered in shiny beetle shells. Its head had large compound eyes that reflected Alan's flashlight beam. The second creature was shorter but wider, with skin that looked like clear crystal with colored lights moving under the surface. "Are those aliens?" Olivia whispered. The insect-like creature made clicking sounds while the crystal being produced, soft humming tones. A small device on the insect alien's wrist glowed and suddenly words came out in English. "The translator is functioning." "Excellent," the insect being said. "I am Dr. Krillix, xenobiologist of the Galactic Confederation Research, Vessel Luminous Curiosity. This is Engineer Zal, who will repair our ship." The humans stood speechless. First contact with aliens was happening in a Wyoming field, and they were the only witnesses. The crystal alien Zal walked around the ship, touching its surface and making musical sounds. "Critical engine failure," Dr. Krillix continued. "We require approximately 14 solar cycles for repairs." Finally, Derek found his voice. You're actually aliens? From another planet?" The insect head tilted. "We are representatives of the Galactic Confederation of Sentient Species. We have been observing your world for quite some time." "Why haven't you made contact before?" Alan asked. "Your species is classified as pets, potentially evolved territorial species. We do not typically interact with pets until they achieve certain technological milestones." Olivia stepped forward. "Pets? You mean like animals?" "Not precisely. Pets are species that have basic tool use and primitive technology but lack the cognitive and social development required for full Confederation membership." The humans exchanged looks of confusion and slight offense. "Hang on," Derek said. "You're saying humans aren't smart enough for your club?" Dr. Krillix's head bobbed. "Your species shows promise but has not yet developed psychic abilities, stable social structures, or sufficient technological advancement. No offense intended. Many species spend thousands of years at the pet stage." A new figure appeared at the ship's entrance. This one had purple skin and 4 eyes arranged vertically on its face. "Commander Vrall," Dr. Krillix greeted. "I was explaining our situation to the local pets. The commander looked at the humans with all four eyes blinking in sequence. Dr. Krillix, is it wise to engage with them? Protocol suggests minimal contact. Our situation is unusual, Commander, and this presents a unique research opportunity. With your permission, I propose taking these specimens aboard for study while Engineer Zal completes repairs. Specimens? Alan stepped back. Now wait just a minute. Study? Olivia's face showed alarm. We're not lab rats, Commander Vrall considered. Very well, Dr. Krillix, but ensure they are comfortable and unharmed. We do not mistreat any species, even pets. Before the humans could protest further, Dr. Krillix raised a small device. A soft blue light washed over them, and Alan felt his muscles go limp. He tried to run but couldn't move. His mind stayed clear, but his body wouldn't respond. Don't be alarmed, Dr. Krillix said as alien assistants emerged from the ship. This is temporary paralysis for safe transport. You will receive comfortable quarters, adequate nutrition, and entertainment suitable for your cognitive level. The three humans were carefully carried into the ship. The last thing Alan saw before the ship door closed was the night sky of Earth, wondering if he would ever see it again. Inside the ship, they passed through shimmering corridors with walls that seemed alive with light and color. Alan noticed that despite being unable to move, he could still feel everything. The smooth material of the stretcher beneath him, the cool air of the ship. They were placed in separate rooms that looked like a cross between a zoo habitat and a studio apartment. Each had a bed, a small food area, a bathroom behind a privacy screen, and various objects that looked like toys or puzzles. As the paralysis wore off, Alan sat up and examined his new home. A large window showed the corridor outside, where aliens, of different shapes and sizes, walked past, sometimes stopping to look at him. He realized with a mixture of anger and dismay that he was an exhibit, a pet in a cage. We're in big trouble, he said to himself, testing the strange but comfortable bed, but they have no idea who they're dealing with. In her own room, Olivia was already testing the boundaries of her enclosure, looking for weaknesses, and in his habitat, Derek was examining the strange materials around him, his mechanic's mind already thinking of ways they might be used. None of the aliens noticed that each human was not displaying the expected fear response for a captured pets species. Instead, their eyes showed something else entirely: determination, calculation, and the uniquely human quality of refusing to accept their circumstances. The study had begun, but this time, the observers would soon become the observed. 6 months had passed since the first contact incident in Wyoming. The small farm where Alan had witnessed the crashing alien ship was now a bustling diplomatic compound. Temporary buildings housed scientists and officials from Earth and the Galactic Confederation. In the center stood a sleek communication tower that could send messages across light years. Alan walked through the compound, nodding to both humans and aliens as he passed. He still found it strange to see Zithri, Elorians, and other alien species walking freely on Earth soil, talking with human scientists and diplomats as equals. He entered the main conference building where Olivia was teaching a group of Confederation linguists about human languages and communication styles. She had become Earth's leading expert on alien languages. The key difference, she was explaining, is that humans developed communication through sound and written symbols, while many of your species rely partly on telepathic impressions. When she finished, Alan waved her over. Ready for the big meeting? She nodded. Derek is already there with the engineering team. This could change everything. Together they walked to the largest building in the compound. Inside, representatives from Earth government sat alongside Confederation officials, including High Arbiter Shala. On a raised platform stood Derek with several human and alien engineers, beside a strange-looking device that hummed quietly. Admiral Garcia opened the session. 6 months ago, 3 humans were taken aboard an alien ship due to a classification error. Today, thanks to their courage and determination, we stand at the beginning of a new chapter for Earth and for the Galactic Confederation. She gestured to Derek. Our team has an announcement regarding the Joint Species Review Initiative. Derek stepped forward, looking more confident than he had 6 months ago when he was just a small-town mechanic. When we started reviewing the 17 species classified as pets, we faced a major challenge. Many of these beings couldn't communicate with us or the Confederation in conventional ways. We needed a new approach. He patted the humming device. This is a neural pattern translator. It combines human-computer algorithms with Confederation psychic amplification technology. It doesn't require telepathy to work. It can detect and translate neural patterns from any brain structure into understandable language. The room buzzed with excitement. Dr. Krillix, who had remained on Earth as a scientific liaison, raised a hand. "You've tested this device?" "Yes," Derek said. "We've used it successfully with 3 of the species previously classified as pets. All 3 demonstrated clear sentience, complex emotions, and social structures we simply didn't recognize before." High Arbiter Shayla stood, silver skin gleaming under the lights. "This is remarkable. If these findings are confirmed, the Confederation classification system will require a complete overhaul." "We've already begun the process," Alan said, stepping forward. Earth vessels with Confederation observers aboard have visited 2 of the home planets. We've returned some of the specimens and made peaceful contact with their civilizations. Images appeared on the large screen behind them, strange but beautiful alien worlds with unique species celebrating the return of their lost members. In both cases, Olivia added, these species had developed advanced cultures that simply followed different paths than Confederation species. They weren't less intelligent, just different. Dr. Krillix's antennae drooped with what looked like shame. "We have much to answer for. Generations of well-meaning scientists, including myself, may have committed great injustices through our narrow understanding of intelligence. The important thing," Alan said kindly, "is that we're fixing it now." High Arbiter Shala addressed the assembly. "The Council has reviewed the evidence and reached a decision. The PETS classification system will be replaced with a new First Contact Protocol, jointly developed by Earth and Confederation experts. No beings will be removed from their homeworlds for study without clear consent." The room erupted in applause, from humans and various alien sounds of approval. After the meeting, Alan, Olivia, and Derek stood outside, looking up at the night sky. Stars twinkled overhead, stars they now knew held countless worlds with diverse forms of life and intelligence. "Hard to believe it's only been 6 months, Derek said. "Sometimes I miss just being a mechanic in Wyoming." "Do you regret getting involved in all this?" Olivia asked. Derek shook his head. "Not for a second. We've helped change the fate of multiple species. How many mechanics get to say that?" Alan smiled. "The best part is what's coming next. The Reclamation launches tomorrow." The Reclamation was Earth's newest starship, built with a combination of human ingenuity and Confederation technology. Its mission was to visit each of the 17 worlds whose species had been misclassified, return any specimens still in Confederation facilities, and establish proper diplomatic relations. "I still can't believe they asked us to lead the mission," Olivia said. "Who better?" Alan replied. "We know exactly what it feels like to be mistaken for something less than we are." A soft chirping sound made them turn. Dr. Krillix approached, walking carefully on his 4 thin legs. "I wanted to thank you," the alien scientist said. "Despite how we first met, you have shown remarkable forgiveness and cooperation." "Everyone makes mistakes," Alan said. "Even scientists from advanced galactic civilizations. I've been reviewing the records of our first encounters," Dr. Krillix continued. "I believe I understand now what confused our classification systems about humans." "What was it?" Derek asked. "Your compassion," the scientist said. "When we observed humans caring deeply about beings unlike themselves, other animals, the environment, even fictional characters in your stories, we misinterpreted this as primitive emotional response rather than advanced moral reasoning." "So our empathy made you think we were pets?" Olivia asked, amused. "Essentially, yes. Most species in the Confederation evolved to care primarily about their own kind. Extending concern to others was seen as unusual, Now we recognize it as one of humanity's greatest strengths. As Dr. Krillix left them, the three humans looked up again at the star-filled sky. Tomorrow they would begin a journey to distant worlds, helping other misunderstood species find their place in the galactic community. You know what's funny? Alan said. They thought we were just pets, but in the end we taught them a few new tricks. Olivia laughed. Like how to recognize intelligence that doesn't look like your own. And how compassion can be a strength, not a weakness, Derek added. Behind them, Earth's new starship gleamed under floodlights, its name, Reclamation, painted proudly on the hull. It would carry them and their message to the stars. No species should be judged by another's standards, and sometimes the most unexpected beings could teach the greatest lessons. Somewhere in the vast database of the Galactic Confederation, the classification for humans had been updated. No longer listed as potentially evolved territorial species, they now had a new designation. Paradigm-expanding transformative sentience. The same acronym, PETS, but with a meaning that acknowledged how a simple misunderstanding had led to a profound transformation in how the galaxy understood intelligence, compassion, and the countless forms sentient life could take among the stars. The meeting room felt tense. Alan, Olivia, and Derek sat on one side of a large oval table. Commander Vral, Dr. Krillix, Engineer Zal, and Security Officer Trazek sat on the other side. This was the first time the humans were treated as guests instead of specimens. Let me understand this correctly, Commander Vral said, his four eyes blinking in sequence. You not only escaped your habitats without setting off alarms, but also mapped a significant portion of my ship in just 3 nights? Alan nodded calmly. Yes, and we could have done more if we wanted to cause trouble. Security Officer Trazek, a muscular alien with red scales and sharp teeth, growled. This proves they are dangerous. We should increase security measures. Or, Olivia suggested, you could recognize that we're an intelligent species worthy of respect. Dr. Krillix's antennae twitched rapidly, a sign of excitement or distress. This challenges centuries of classification protocols. Humans show no telepathic abilities, have limited lifespans, and your technology is primitive compared to Confederation standards. Different doesn't mean inferior, Derek said. We solve problems in our own way. Commander Vral leaned forward. Your assistance with the engine crisis was impressive. But one technical insight does not prove sentience. Then test us, Alan challenged. Not with children's puzzles, give us real problems. The commander considered this. Very well, we will conduct new evaluations. Until then, you will be given limited access to non-critical areas of the ship, under supervision. When the meeting ended, the humans were taken to new quarters. These rooms were smaller but had no observation windows and real doors they could control themselves. Progress, Alan said after their escort left. But we're still prisoners. At least they're starting to question their assumptions, Olivia replied. Dr. Krillix seemed genuinely confused by us. Derek sat on his bed. They still don't get it. They judge everything by their standards. If you don't have telepathy, you're basically an animal to them. Then we need to show them what humans can do, Alan said. Make them understand we have our own strengths. Over the next 2 days, the aliens tested the humans with increasingly difficult challenges. Olivia excelled at language and pattern recognition, learning more of the aliens' languages, and even beginning to understand their writing system. Derek solved complex engineering problems that impressed even Zal. Alan showed strategic thinking that surprised Security Officer Trazek during simulation exercises. During a break, Alan found himself alone with Trazek in a corridor. You still don't trust us, Alan said. The security officer's eyes narrowed. I've studied your species. You have a history of violence and warfare. If you are truly sentient, you are potentially dangerous. All intelligent species have conflict in their past, Alan replied. What matters is learning from it. Trazek made a sound like a scoff. Pretty words. But if your kind joined the Confederation, how long before humans demanded equal status? Before you wanted seats on the council? Some species wait centuries for such honors. Now Alan understood better. This wasn't just about classification. It was about power and hierarchy in the Galactic Confederation. Later that evening, as the humans ate dinner in a small dining area, Dr. Krillix approached with a data pad. "I've been reviewing your test results," the scientist said. "They are unexpected. I'm considering recommending a revision of your species classification." "About time," Derek muttered. However, Dr. Krillix continued, "There is resistance from some crew members, and any reclassification would need approval from the Confederation Council. The process could take years." Olivia leaned forward. "Dr. Krillix, how many other species have you classified as pets?" The alien seemed uncomfortable. "Currently 17 species across 12 star systems." "And how many have you collected for study, like us?" she pressed. That information is classified." Alan's eyes widened as he realized what Olivia was suggesting. "You've taken other beings from their home planets, haven't you? Beings who might also be smarter than you thought." Dr. Krillix's antennae flattened against his head. "I must go. We will continue tests tomorrow." He hurried away. "We hit a nerve," Derek said. "I bet we're not the first pets to surprise them." "Which means this isn't just about us anymore," Alan said, lowering his voice. "If there are others out there being treated like animals when they're actually people." Olivia nodded. "We need to find out more, and we need to contact Earth." That night, instead of exploring the ship, they made a different plan. Using Derek's technical knowledge and parts he had secretly collected, they built a small device to interfere with the ship's internal sensors. "This should create a blind spot for about 10 minutes, Derek explained. "Enough time to access a communication terminal without being detected." The next morning, during their test sessions, Alan created a distraction by pretending to collapse during a physical endurance test. While medical staff attended to him, Olivia slipped away and planted Derek's device near the ship's main sensor relay. When the device activated, causing a brief system fluctuation, Derek used the opportunity to access an unattended communication terminal in the science lab. Working quickly, he sent a compressed data burst toward Earth. The message was simple but critical: coordinates of the ship, information about the aliens, and a warning that humans weren't the only species being collected by the Confederation. He finished just as the systems came back online. Security Officer Trazik burst into the lab moments later, looking suspicious. "What are you doing here alone?" he demanded. "Looking for Dr. Krillix," Derek answered calmly. "We were supposed to continue the engineering aptitude tests." Trazik seemed unconvinced but had no evidence of wrongdoing. He escorted Derek back to the testing area, where Alan, recovered from his collapse, waited with Olivia. That evening, Commander Vral called an emergency meeting. His four eyes looked troubled. "Our communication officers detected an unauthorized transmission sent to Earth," he said. "The signal was encrypted, but we believe it contained information about our ship and mission." The humans kept their faces neutral. "This is exactly what I warned about," Trazik said angrily. "They cannot be trusted." "What concerns me more," Commander Vral continued, "is that shortly after the transmission, our sensors detected multiple Earth vessels launching and heading toward our position. They will arrive within 24 hours. Alan allowed himself a small smile. "It seems humans are full of surprises." "You have endangered this mission and this crew," Vral said, his voice hard. "Earth technology should not be capable of reaching us here." "Maybe you underestimated us in more ways than one," Olivia suggested. "What do these approaching vessels want?" Zal asked, lights pulsing nervously inside his crystal body. "Probably to ensure we're safe," Derek said. "And maybe to introduce themselves properly as equals, not specimens." Commander Vral turned to Dr. Krillix. "Your classification error has created a diplomatic incident. The Confederation Council must be informed immediately." The scientist's antennae drooped. "Yes, Commander. I will prepare a full report on the miscalculation." "In the meantime," Alan said, standing up, "I suggest you prepare to meet representatives of Earth. And perhaps you should review the status of those other 17 pets species you mentioned. They might be more than you thought, too." The aliens exchanged worried glances. For the first time since the humans had been brought aboard, the power balance had shifted. No longer specimens and habitats, they now stood as representatives of their planet. A planet that had just demonstrated unexpected space travel capabilities and a determination to protect its people. And somewhere out in the galaxy, other misclassified beings might soon learn they had unexpected allies from a small, blue planet called Earth. Alarms blared throughout the alien ship. Commander Vrall stood on the bridge watching the main screen with all four of his eyes wide open. 5 Earth vessels approached in formation. They were sleek, dark gray, and much more advanced than the aliens had believed human technology to be. "How is this possible?" Engineer Zal asked, his crystalline body flashing with nervous lights. "Our data indicated humans had only achieved limited spaceflight capabilities. It seems," Dr. Krillick said slowly, "that humans have been hiding their true technological level." Security Officer Trazek growled, "Deception! This proves they are dangerous." Alan, Olivia, and Derek had been brought to the bridge to help handle the situation. They stood behind the commander, trying not to look too pleased with themselves. "We didn't hide anything," Alan explained. "Your observation teams only saw what was public. Not everything gets announced to the world." "This changes everything," Commander Vrall muttered. "A species with hidden space capabilities. The Council must be informed immediately." One of the Z3 communication officers chittered anxiously. "Commander, the Earth vessels are hailing us. They request to speak. With the 3 humans first, then with ship leadership. Put it on screen," Vrall ordered. The main display showed a serious-looking woman in a dark uniform with silver insignia. Behind her was what looked like a military command center. "This is Admiral Garcia of the Earth Defense Fleet. I'm speaking to the 3 citizens who were taken from Wyoming. Are you unharmed?" "We're fine, Admiral," Olivia answered. "The aliens have been treating us well. Mostly." The Admiral nodded. "Good. We've been tracking the alien vessel since it entered our atmosphere. When we received your message, we mobilized immediately." She turned her attention to the aliens. "To the commander of the vessel, we request the immediate return of our citizens and a formal diplomatic meeting." Commander Vrall stepped forward. "I am Commander Vrall of the Galactic Confederation research vessel, Luminous Curiosity. We apologize for the misunderstanding regarding your species classification. We would welcome diplomatic talks." After the communication ended, the bridge erupted in frantic discussion. Commander Vrall turned to the humans. "Your military vessels will arrive in 6 hours. We must prepare. What should we expect?" Alan smiled slightly. "They'll be professional but firm. They'll want explanations, apologies, and guarantees this won't happen again. And information about the other species you've collected," Olivia added pointedly. Dr. Krillick's antennae drooped. "I feared this would come up." Derek crossed his arms. "It's the right thing to do. If you've misclassified others like you did us, they deserve justice too." Commander Vrall sighed, a strange whistling sound. "Very well. Prepare Landing Bay 2 for the Earth delegation. Dr. Krillick's, gather all data on the PET's classification. Program for review." 6 hours later, the humans stood in the landing bay as a sleek Earth shuttle docked with the alien ship. The door opened, and Admiral Garcia stepped out, followed by a team of diplomats and scientists in formal attire. 2 soldiers in protective gear followed, scanning everything with advanced devices. The Admiral embraced each of the 3 humans briefly. "Well done, all of you," she said quietly. "Your message contained exactly what we needed." She turned to face Commander Vrall and his officers. "On behalf of Earth governments, I formally protest the unauthorized taking of our citizens and demand a full accounting of your actions." What followed was an intense diplomatic meeting in the ship's conference room. The Earth delegation was prepared and confident, presenting evidence of advanced human technology, culture, and governance. They made it clear that Earth considered itself an equal to any Galactic Confederation member. "We have been aware of extraterrestrial observation for decades," one of the diplomats explained. "But we chose to keep our more advanced technologies hidden until we better understood the intentions of those watching us. A wise precaution," Commander Vrall admitted, one that our protocols failed to account for. As the meeting continued, Dr. Krillix reluctantly presented data on other species classified as pets. The Earth delegation grew increasingly concerned. So you've taken specimens from 17 other planets? Admiral Garcia asked, her voice hard. Beings who may be fully sentient by any reasonable standard? The classification system has been in place for centuries, Dr. Krillix defended weakly. It has always worked before. It failed with us, Alan pointed out. How do you know it didn't fail with others? The meeting was interrupted when a new ship appeared on the sensors. Larger and more ornate than the research vessel, it moved into position nearby. The Harmonious Accord, Commander Vrall explained. A diplomatic vessel from the Confederation Council. They must have received my emergency transmission. Within an hour, the conference room was filled with new aliens. The most impressive was High Arbiter Shala, a tall, elegant being with silver skin and flowing robes adorned with glowing symbols of office. This is most disturbing, the High Arbiter said, after hearing reports from both sides. A classification error of this magnitude has never occurred before. With respect, High Arbiter, Olivia said, how can you be certain? If you've never properly tested the other species you've labeled as pets, you might have made the same mistake many times. The High Arbiter's eyes narrowed. A concerning possibility. The Council takes such matters very seriously. Admiral Garcia leaned forward. Earth proposes the following. First, immediate recognition of humans as a fully sentient species with all rights that entails. Second, a complete review of all pets classifications, with Earth scientists participating. Third, the return of any beings taken from other worlds for study. The High Arbiter conferred with advisors in whispered tones before responding. Your first demand is granted. The evidence is clear that humans qualify as sentient by our standards despite lacking certain traits common to Confederation species. And the others? Alan pressed. The Council will need to deliberate on full review of the classification system, Shala said carefully. As for specimens from other worlds, that is complicated. Some have been in Confederation facilities for generations. Derek stood up, surprising everyone. They're not specimens, they're people, or at least they might be. They deserve to go home just like we do. The High Arbiter studied him with ancient eyes. Your passion is noted, human. I will recommend a review of all cases beginning with the most recent acquisitions. After hours of negotiation, a preliminary agreement was reached. Humans would be officially recognized as sentient. A joint team would review other pet species. And most importantly, Earth would join the Galactic Confederation, not as a junior member, but with special status as a civilization that had developed along a different path than most member species. As the meeting ended, Alan, Olivia, and Derek found themselves standing with Dr. Krillix near a viewport, watching Earthships and alien vessels in an uneasy formation. I still don't understand how we made such a fundamental error, the scientist said. Our methods have always been so precise. Olivia smiled gently. Maybe the problem wasn't with your methods, but with your assumptions. You defined sentience based on what your species values: telepathy, energy manipulation, certain types of social structures. Humans developed different strengths, Alan added. Adaptability, problem-solving, determination, and compassion, Derek said. Don't forget that we're not just fighting for ourselves but for others who can't speak for themselves. Dr. Krillix's antennae twitched thoughtfully. Perhaps that is what we overlooked. Your concern for others, even those not of your species. It is unusually developed. The three humans smiled at each other. Their ordeal was ending, but something much bigger was beginning. Earth was stepping onto the galactic stage, and its first act would be to help others who had been wrongly classified, collected, and displayed, just as they had been. I think, Alan said, looking out at the stars, that the Galactic Confederation has a lot to learn about what makes a species truly advanced. 3 days passed on the alien ship. Alan woke up in his habitat and stretched. The bed was surprisingly comfortable, though everything felt slightly off, like sleeping in someone else's home. The lights in his room slowly brightened, mimicking a sunrise. This was how the aliens woke their pets each morning. A panel in the wall slid open, revealing breakfast. The food wasn't bad, some kind of nutrient paste that tasted different each day. Today it tasted like oatmeal with honey. Alan ate while watching the aliens who passed by his window. He had started to recognize the different species. The insect-like ones were Zithri, like Dr. Krillix. The crystal beings were called Ilorians. There were at least 3 other alien types on the ship. Some looked almost like tall, thin humans, but with blue skin. Others resembled walking plants with eyes on stalks. Alan finished eating and waited. Soon, Dr. Krillix entered his habitat through a door that opened with a wave of a small device. "Good morning, Alan," the alien said through the translator. "I trust you slept well?" "As well as anyone can in a zoo," Alan replied. Dr. Krillix's antennae twitched. "This is not a zoo. It is a temporary research habitat. Today we will continue with cognitive tests." The tests were simple puzzles that got harder each day. Alan could solve them easily, but he pretended to struggle with the difficult ones. He had decided it was better if the aliens underestimated humans. In the habitat next door, Olivia was having her daily language lesson. Unlike Alan, she didn't hide her abilities. She wanted to learn the aliens' language. "Greetings, respected researcher," she said in the clicking language of the Zithri without using the translator. Dr. Krillix seemed pleased. "Your pronunciation improves daily, most impressive for a pet species." "About that," Olivia said. "I still don't understand why you classify humans as non-sentient. We have art, science, philosophy." Yes, Dr. Krillix interrupted. "All pet species have primitive versions of these. But true sentience requires more. The ability to communicate, telepathically for example, or to manipulate energy fields directly with your mind." Olivia frowned. "So because we don't have psychic powers, we're not considered intelligent?" "Intelligence exists on a spectrum," Dr. Krillix explained patiently, as if to a child. "Your species has potential. In a few thousand years, who knows?" In the third habitat, Derek was being studied by an Ilorian scientist named Taz. The crystal alien watched as Derek assembled small mechanical parts into various shapes. "What purpose does this serve?" Taz asked, lights pulsing inside his crystalline body. Derek shrugged. "Just keeping my hands busy. I'm a mechanic back home, I fix things." "Fascinating primitive behavior," Taz noted in a small recording device. "Shows basic tool use instinct without higher understanding." Derek bit back a sarcastic reply. Like Alan, he had decided to play dumb. Over the past 3 days, he had collected small pieces of metal and plastic from the toys and puzzles they gave him. Hidden under his mattress was a growing collection of makeshift tools. That night, after the ship's lights dimmed for sleep cycle, Alan lay still in his bed, listening. The aliens thought humans needed more sleep than they did. This gave him a few hours each night when no one was watching. When he was sure no observers were present, Alan slipped out of bed and moved to the wall near his bathroom area. 3 nights ago, he had discovered a panel that wasn't completely sealed. Each night, he worked on loosening it further. Tonight, it finally came free. Behind it was a maze of colored tubes and wires, the ship's equivalent of plumbing and electrical systems. Alan carefully reached in and found what he was looking for. A bundle of glowing blue fibers that he guessed controlled the door lock. With careful fingers, he rerouted 2 of the fibers. There was a soft click, and his habitat door slid open, a few inches. Alan smiled in the darkness. Step 1 of their plan was complete. He slipped through the narrow opening and moved silently down the corridor to Olivia's habitat. Using the same technique, he opened her door. Olivia was already awake and waiting. "You did it," she whispered. "I knew you would." Together they freed Derek, who grinned when he saw them. "About time," he said softly. "I was getting bored." In there, the 3 humans huddled in the dim corridor. "Remember what we planned?" Alan whispered. "We only have about 4 hours before the night shift changes. Olivia, you're our translator. Derek, you've got the ship layout memorized. I'll handle any locks we encounter. Olivia nodded. Most of the crew should be sleeping. The night shift stays mainly on the bridge and in engineering. We're not trying to escape yet, Alan reminded them. First, we need to understand this ship better and find a way to contact Earth. They moved through the silent corridors like shadows. When they heard aliens approaching, they ducked into empty rooms or maintenance closets. Derek led them confidently through the ship, having memorized the layout by watching the crew's movements from his habitat. The communications center should be down this hall, Derek whispered, pointing left at a junction. As they turned the corner, they came face to face with a blue-skinned alien carrying a tray of tools. The alien stared at them in shock, dropping the tray with a loud clatter. "Please don't sound the alarm," Olivia said quickly in the alien's language. "We mean no harm." The blue alien looked confused. "You speak? But you are pets." "We're not pets," Alan said firmly. "We're humans, and we're just as intelligent as you are." Before the conversation could continue, a loud alarm began blaring throughout the ship. Red lights flashed in the corridors. "That's not for us," Derek said, looking around. "Something else is happening." The blue alien's wrist device lit up with a message. Its eyes widened. "Engine malfunction," it told them. "Possible radiation. Leak in engineering. All crew to emergency stations." The three humans exchanged glances. This could work to their advantage or make things much worse. "Can we help?" Olivia asked. "Derek is skilled with machines." The alien hesitated, clearly torn between protocol and an emergency. "Follow me," it finally decided. "But if this is some trick." "No trick," Derek assured him. "If your ship is damaged, we're all in danger. We want to help." They followed the blue alien toward engineering. Along the way, they passed panicked crew members who barely glanced at the humans, too focused on the emergency. When they reached engineering, they found chaos. The crystal engineer Zal was frantically working on a large pulsing core in the center of the room, surrounded by warning lights and hissing valves. "The containment field is failing," someone shouted. "We have 10 minutes until catastrophic failure." Commander Vral noticed the humans and pointed angrily. "Why are the specimens—" "Here, return them to containment." "Sir," the blue alien began. They offered to help. "We don't need help from pets," Vral snapped. Derek stepped forward anyway, studying the failing engine core. "Your coolant system is overloading," he said, pointing to a series of valves. "The pressure is backing up because these flow regulators are misaligned." The room fell silent as all aliens turned to stare at him. "How could you possibly know that?" Zal asked, lights flickering inside his crystal body. "I've been fixing machines my whole life," Derek said simply. "The principles are the same, even if the technology is different. If you adjust those 3 valves in sequence and bypass the main regulator, you can stabilize the system." Zal looked at Commander Vral, who hesitated before nodding reluctantly. The engineers followed Derek's instructions, and gradually the alarms quieted. The pulsing core returned to a steady glow. When the crisis had passed, Commander Vral approached, the 3 humans with a new expression in his 4 eyes. Confusion. "This will require explanation," he said slowly. "No pet species should be capable of understanding our engine technology, let alone fixing it." Alan stepped forward. "That's because we're not pets, Commander. And I think it's time we had a real conversation as equals."